Hi, I'm Bry Cox, BryCoxWORKSHOPS.com. I'm doing an Ask Me Anything for PPA, PPA.com, Professional Photographers of America, and for The Loop, which is our social media site for professionals. And I got a question here from Diane from, what is this, Valley City, Indy, is that North Dakota, I believe. She says, if you could only give one piece of advice regarding the business side of photography, what would it be? One piece of advice. All right. I've got a good piece of advice. Avoid debt like the plague. That is huge. One of the biggest things photography, oh man, I could talk about lighting, talk about sales, could talk about social dynamics, getting people to relax and look great in front of the camera, your interaction with them, all of that is super important. But I feel like the money thing is a really important. If I were to give one piece of advice, that would probably be it, because one of the things photographers miss the most is the business side of photography. That's why I'm doing a program at ImagingUSA on business, sales, on making more money, the psychology of sales, psychology of pricing. And even though we won't be talking about debt in that particular program, business is one of the things photographers need the most. They need to run their business like a business. And one of the problems is our whole society is just constant pound, 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 drip, drip, drip information on you need more debt because you need more crap and more stuff and more a bigger this and a bigger that, right? And one of the biggest things you can do as a photographer, particularly as an entrepreneur in any business, is to have zero debt. Have no debt, don't owe anybody. Imagine how creative you can be if you have no payments all month, or for the next month after that, or the next month after that. That's pretty amazing. Wouldn't that be amazing? How much more could we go into just lighting and being creative if you don't feel like that pressure of, oh, I got to make this much this month. I got to make this much this month to cover also what I didn't make last month, or whatever photographers are always worrying about. So I'm a big believer in avoiding debt like the plague. So here's a little personal story. My car, it was about time for me to buy a new car. I was out car shopping with my buddy because he wanted to buy a new car. And he's looking at these freaking awesome cars and they're like amazing. I'm thinking, maybe a new car. But I'm also really content with mine. Mine had almost 300,000 miles on it, right? I bought it in cash a long time ago, still drive it. But at the same time, I was like, and I also been saving for a car. And so there's so many photographers who are just like, oh, I need a car to impress everybody. Oh, I need this to impress somebody. Oh, I need that to impress somebody. Oh, I need a better couch to impress my clients when they come over. I need a better... And what are they doing? They're always buying everything on, and they need bigger lenses and fancier cameras. So my rule of thumb is, if I can't buy it, I don't buy it. And I save for things specifically, and then when I have to lay out hundreds and count that out to buy something, it makes me think twice about how much I really need that and whether that's really the right option. It makes me save money, more so than just swiping a credit card. So I'm a really big believer. So anyway, so the story about my car. So I start car shopping. I actually find a car I really like, but I don't like the dealer. The dealer's being a jerk. He's doing his whole dealer jerk bull crap. So I walk out and I leave and I'm driving home and my car goes, as I'm driving, I'm like, oh crap, I hope that's not the transmission. I hope it's just like brakes or something. I pull over, I can't figure it out, take it into my mechanic cousin the next day. He's like, yeah, transmission shot. Crap, how much is that? Yeah, it totals it out, you know. Car was worth probably $3,000 or $4,000. It'll probably cost $3,000-ish or more to do the transmission. So, all right, so I donated it. It's worth nothing. But guess what? I had been saving. I had money. I went out and bought a car, paid cash for it. And I love it. I mean, it's fantastic. And it's only got 30,000 miles on it, right? And here's the thing. When I was car shopping, all these places were like, you know what we need to do? We need to get you in a car lease. We need to get you, if you don't spend your money, let's get you in this. Why? Because they get paid way more if you go into debt. And I'd say, well, how do you buy cars? Well, I'd get a lease. I'm like, well, why am I taking your opinion then? If you can't afford to just buy a car, then why am I taking your financial advice? And the guy would just kind of go, oh. Like, I can afford to buy a car, and I'm going to buy a car, but I only buy things or I don't buy things. And it gave me a ton of power when I was shopping for cars. It gives me a lot of power when I buy anything, because they just go, I don't need it. I feel content with what I've got. But at the same time, if I'm going to buy it, then I'm actually just going to buy it or I'm not going to buy it. And that way, I don't have all this worry every month. And so anyway, that's a big one, is avoid debt like the plague. And then the other flip side of that is to save up and have a fund for emergencies. If you do that, man, you're going to be in like the top 10% of photographers, because most photographers are hurting and they're worried and they're scared. And if you've got an emergency fund and you have no debt, man, that makes life awesome. And then think about the ways you can advertise at that point. Think about the things you can do for, creativity, for expanding your business if you have no debt. So that'd be my biggest advice. Avoid debt like the plague. All right, I've got more questions to answer. I am not scrolling through these. I'm reading them as I'm talking to you, so you get my full, off-the-cuff, completely unrehearsed answer, which would be then the true answer. All right, got tons of information at my website, BryCoxWORKSHOPS.com. Of course, I got free videos at PPA, PPA.com under PPA EDU. And of course, come see me at ImagingUSA in Nashville. I'm doing a whole awesome program on business and sales. All right, you guys, until next time, America.